What's up? Welcome back to another episode of PvP where we talk about hot topics in gaming and esports. And one hot topic we've seen recently is XQC getting banned and dropped from his team.
Yeah, that's a hot topic indeed.
It's been a series of dramatic events, and it leads us to ask the question, what do we do when influential players act up?
Really, yeah, what do you do when influential players act up? Because these are people you look up to as role models. These are people you want to be. These are people you stay up all night watching these streams thinking, I can become this guy. Right.
It's kind of a very fine line because of their notoriety, because of their reach, right? So, Jimmy, give us some context on XQC.
Oh, XQC, man, stage one. He did not play, I don't think he played any games in stage one. Maybe one. But really, he had 0 appearances because he was using homophobic slurs against Muma.
No good.
How do you publicly berate one of your competitors? I don't understand. That was stage one. We're now in stage two, and he's been suspended once again for using the tryhard7 emote in chat. And tryhard7, for you guys not familiar with it, tryhard is a face of a black guy, just kind of tilted, you know, he's smiling. And the 7 is used as a sort of salute, but there's a lot of disparity between if it's okay or not.
It definitely gets used a lot whenever a person of color is on screen.
Yep.
Twitch chat just spams it.
Yeah, if there's ever a brown guy on screen, you get the Ali one with the little turban on it. It's not fun, but it happens.
Yep, it happens because Twitch chat can get very cringy and very terrible.
Fast. Very, very fast. And okay, so XQC, really the problem was he used a tryhard7 emote when there was no black person on screen, and his defense of it is that he uses it quite frequently when he's entering into chats to make his presence known.
What do you think about
that? There's so much racial connotations tied into it. You couldn't have chosen another one, but Twitch chat gave it a different meaning than its original intention.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I mean...
Like what?
Well, I mean, kind of, right? Because Trihex himself, who's like the face of the emote, isn't mad when people spam his emote. I mean, it's more exposure for him. Thank God we have people of color on Twitch to begin with. But, you know, is it still acceptable behavior? I kind of think not. Me personally, I don't like it because there's so much connotation, just like you said. Yeah, and
I'm split on it personally because being on Twitch for so long, you see the tryhard7 go from just being this innocent little, like, it's been here for a while now. So you see it going from this innocent little salute thing to every time a black guy's on stream, tryhard7. Every time a brown guy's on stream, the Alis come out. It's like...
Okay, so here's another question. Does Blizzard even have to police Twitch chat? Like, is XQC's behavior in Twitch chat, not even in the game, because I can totally understand his banning for the homophobic slurs, right?
That just
absolutely unheard of, like absolutely not acceptable. But he's not playing, he's not on the clock.
And I think the one change in like perspective that players are finally getting now is that Overwatch League, Riot with their LCS, they're trying to go professional now. And I 100% think Blizzard should have dominion over Twitch chat because they signed an agreement with Twitch. They partnered, you know, there was a lot of money going into that. They need to police their chat because this is what people are going to see when they think of Blizzard. Overwatch League, you go straight to their page. If you see Twitch chat and it's just filled with garbage, can't have that. What do you think?
Well, okay, so I'm not sure about censoring Twitch chat itself, but I definitely think that the player is a public figure now.
Yeah,
so
that's true too.
Everything that he does is going to be scrutinized, right? The same way that, I don't know, celebrities, like people in bands, like politicians, they get screwed. Obama got yelled at for wearing a brown suit to a meeting at one point. If that's gonna happen, then XQC better be watching his ass, all right? That's all I'm saying.
Don't be mad because you don't look good in khaki. Come on, dude.
I mean, it's just infuriating to me to see XQC like take this opportunity that so many people are just salivating for and throwing it in their face by being homophobic, by calling casters cancer. You have to understand, you can't live in a bubble where you don't think that that's a terrible thing to do.
No. And like when you think of professional player, the thing you have to think of is exposure. And the key word, once again, professional player. Like when you think of a professional player, imagine like Ronaldo in soccer saying something homophobic. It's over for that guy.
He's canceled if he does
over.
that. No matter what. I love Ronaldo. Not Cristiano Ronaldo, not the Portuguese one, the Brazilian one. But I love him.
Yeah.
Well, all of the Brazilian Ronaldos, because they're all great.
Yeah, there's so many.
But he would be canceled if he did anything remotely homophobic. XQC is canceled in my head. So XQC, I think, just did so many unacceptable things. He called, he was homophobic against his opponent. He called casters cancer, right? And now he's spamming tryhard in like a clearly like loaded emote, unfortunately.
But it's tough because how do you really set the lines? Like, where do you set the lines on what words are okay to use and what words are not okay to use? Because we do see like disparaging language coming out from other players that doesn't necessarily receive an answer in literally any form, like no sort of response. And I'm thinking of Jake, I'm thinking of him saying retard, I'm thinking of other streamers that I see consistently using disparaging language with nothing being done to them. And these are people playing in the top 0.1%. So
yeah, like, I personally, I don't know, I'm definitely known as the serious person among my friends. I'm definitely the no fun zone, right? Because I just can't stand any of that language and think we don't need to use this to communicate. Right. You know, there are better words that we can say. There are more insulting words that we can say to our...
Have fun
exactly. With it. Just find other things to insult teammates and opponents with if you feel you need to. But another question really is whether we should even extend that, right? Because are we then holding these players, these special players, to another standard, right? Are they getting more scrutiny because they're pros? Or should nobody be calling anybody cancer? And is that the kind of thing we can police?
Man, it's so rough, and I think that's why these companies are running into the struggles that they're facing, because like drawing these lines, because there's so many contextual things you have to take into account, which is hard to, honestly, because it's so easy to take something out of context nowadays. And like, how many times have you seen a clip of like Tyler One just absolutely bursting into flames on stream? But everyone knows Tyler One's a Draven god.
Yeah, he's really cringy, and that's where I'm in two minds, because I'm really I definitely was okay with him being banned, right? For context, he was a Draven main. He was a very good player. He still is a very good player. But when he didn't get his way, he coined the phrase "run it down mid," where he would legit just run down the mid lane and feed. And this was the most inane reasons, right? If he didn't get his champion, if his mid laner wasn't playing well, if his support wasn't playing well, if he died. Like, it was just, that's it. He would just say...
You caught him on the wrong side of the bed.
Dude, if he just didn't like the person's name, he would run it down mid. And it became kind of a chant that his followers would do, and I saw it in games where people who watched him would then emulate his behavior.
And that's the thing, when you become this kind of icon, like, and you know, you could call him not an icon, but that's truly what people, like big streamers on Twitch, they become icons.
He's influential.
Yeah, this is the point where you're reaching, where every single one of your actions, no matter be it on ladder, no matter be it in an actual league, is gonna come back and like freaking haunt you.
So then he got banned for about a year. And in that time, he was still streaming other games. His viewership dropped significantly, but he kept going. And more, it showed that he was remorseful, and like he missed League, and he legit would sit back and say, man, I hate League, but I miss it so much. I just want to play it. And then he got unbanned. And the day he came back, the day he streamed League, it broke Twitch at the time. I think he had 450 concurrent viewers. And that was momentous at the time, right before the record got broken 2 more times. But people came back with such a vigor to him playing, and he got to showcase the fact that he wasn't an angry, toxic person.
Right.
Try as his teammates might, because again, the toxic culture that arises with some of these games invited people to snipe his games and try and int and try and get him to be bad, and he still stayed strong.
And honestly, I'm glad, sort of. Like, it's such a polarizing thing, because I'm glad he's back. He's cool now. He's cool. Like, I would be his friend now. Before, not so much. And that's the thing. When I'm all for second chances, you're all for second chances.
Yeah.
We want to see people do well. But if you give people second chances and then they don't take them, what do you do at that point? Do you continue to ban them or what? You're the one that unbanned them. Like, what?
Yeah, so this is a problem I have a lot with Riot, right? They'll do this thing where they'll say, this is final. These are repeat offenses. I've let you live for now, but now you just keep taking advantage and you're not showing any sign of remorse. You're canceled. You're done. And then a year later, they're back and they're on a pro team. Jensen.
What are you doing, man?
Like, okay, so with somebody like XQC, I understand he's just being BM and he's just being a lame person. He's just being offensive. But Jensen legit, when he was playing as Incarnation on the EU server, he was DDoSing people. He was actually stopping people from being able to play the game in order to win or because he was angry.
So how childish do you have to be to pull that off, man? It's a game. You're gonna lose some, you're gonna win some. It's fine.
I understand when you're in your teens, right? And I understand being legitimately frustrated when maybe the game isn't going your way, whether it's your fault or not your fault. But it's still not in your hands to mess with that decision. But I don't know. I think Jensen has matured just because he has to. It's been so many years.
That's true, yeah, biologically.
But, and he's one of the top mid laners in NA, but am I allowing this because he's so good? And are so many people defending XQC because he's so good?
And like instantly off the top of my head, defending people because they're good. You know who comes to my head? Defran. I will dominate. Like, these people are fantastic at what they do, but toxic.
Okay, tell me more about Defran.
All right, Defran, man. Okay, he started off working at a McDonald's, okay? Yeah, this is like the meme. He started off as a McDonald's employee, and he got into Overwatch. He was fantastic. Probably the best Western Tracer. Except he had anger issues, as many as these esports professionals do for some reason. But when things weren't going his way, he would pick Torbjorn, literally run it down mid as well. And he streamed this on Twitch to thousands of people. 1 year later, he's back, making money off of Twitch.
See, okay, and is he still being toxic? Do you know?
He's not. That's the thing, like, he has reformed. He's extremely good. But what is that the right? It's just so, it's polarizing, it's splitting me because I like Defran. I know the mechanical skill is there, and like you said, people have respect for mechanical skill. Like people have respect for athletes. If you can dunk, like, people can respect you, but.
Right, no matter how, like, annoying or obnoxious you are in interviews, they'll still be like, oh, but he sure can dunk, right? Like, you know, and so that's funny because I Will Dominate was in a similar boat, right? I don't think he was that good. He was definitely up and coming. He was on Dignitas. He absolutely ruined my team when he got banned, but he got banned for toxicity. He was, so this was back when the tribunal you could vote on players. So like people would report people after games, and he was in the top 0.7% of most reported accounts, all right? For whatever reason, a lot of people who were in games with him found him extremely toxic.
Yeah.
And then when faced with other human eyeballs, this wasn't even an algorithm yet, other people were like, yeah, ban this guy. Yeah. And so after a while, Riot was like, you leave us no choice. Like, literally the people have spoken.
Yeah.
So he was banned. But then when he came back, first off, it ruined his esports career. He was kicked off Dignitas. He came back, I think, on Team Liquid for a while, and I don't think he ever really broke out. He never really got that much better.
Never recovered.
But then he established a pretty decent streaming career, and multiple times he's suggested that he was set as an example, that he was banned kind of to show the community that Riot doesn't mess with. Riot doesn't mess with toxicity, right? Riot cares a lot.
Quote unquote.
Right. So on the one hand, I don't like that as a response, right? If that's true and Riot really did single him out to make a case out of him, then yeah, that's unfair. But on the other hand, he came back and continued to be a dick.
And that's the thing. that victim complex that he has, I was made a target, is that the complex that he has going into every game? And is that why he's so toxic? Like, I will dominate, bro. What are you doing?
He's BM'd. I remember a specific case, I think within the last 6 months. I don't remember how long ago it was, but he got a donation where someone was suggesting, like, I think you did a bad play, or I think you did something crazy. Maybe you could have tried this. And the dude legit was like, after receiving a donation, he was like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're silver. Get out of here.
That guy just gave him money.
He gave him money just to be able to say, I have a different opinion. And he was like, your opinion doesn't matter. You're silver. No, ban him, cancel him. Because he's not even that good.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things. And you're BM towards your viewers? Get out of here. That's not how the gaming community is supposed to represent itself.
Yeah, that's someone that came out of their own time to just sit in your room and watch you play games, and you're gonna treat them like that? Like.
And I have friends that are permabanned.
Yeah.
Who, these are my friends, okay? I clearly don't think that they should be permabanned. And this guy gets to berate his viewers who give him money? Get out of here.
Yeah, honestly, like, what? What?
It's so dumb.
He claims Riot wants to make an example out of him, yet unbans him further. Like, what are you making an example out of?
I guess they just want people to take him. They just want people to take Riot's punishment system seriously. When they ban people who are influences for all kinds of arbitrary reasons, it's kind of hard to get a solid view of what they think is right or wrong.
Yeah, like what? Because to the fan, to the viewer, you're just sitting here thinking, this is what I see. There's really no consistency. How do I, as a fan, determine my morals and values watching these guys? So.
Right. So I think ultimately, if we step back and think about it, obviously, I don't think these organizations can do everything right all the time.
Right.
Right. But I also don't think the community, or rather, these influencers that we just identified, these influential players, I think all of them had their issues, but it's part of a larger conversation, right? Yeah. What do we find acceptable in behavior and conversation?
Like, what does being a professional
really
mean? What does being an influential person really mean in the realm of gaming?
Or even taking a step back, what does it mean to be a member of this community?
Right,
you know what I mean? Should I go into these games expecting to be called cancer?
Right.
Should I go into these games expecting my role models to call me cancer? You know, and I kind of think that that's unacceptable, but I think it's important that we, as a community, push that agenda. You know what I mean?
I agree, absolutely. Because Twitch chat, they decided years ago, you know, not of their own volition, but the hive mind is crazy, but they decided years ago that this was how they were going to approach esports. That's got to change. And I think the time is now, because things are happening, big things, and nothing like this has ever happened before. So. And
we have positive icons that we can get behind.
Absolutely. Like, dude. And like, Dallas Jewel, you think of XQC, think of Mickey instead. Like that random Thailand person, Thailandese, Thai. He's from Thailand.
He's Thai.
He is Thai.
He's awesome and he's very sweet. And there are a number of awesome, good-natured League of Legends professionals too that we can stand all day. Yeah. Either way, we want to know what you have to say. Let us know if you think that we're being too heavy-handed with our punishment, or if you think that toxicity should be snuffed out by the leagues themselves.
That was it for PvP. I'm Jimmy Jimbasco.
And I'm Judy Jetset.
And if you haven't already, subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon to become part of the notification squad today. Stay tuned to Leaderboard Esports because we're going to have a lot of content coming your way soon.
Thanks for watching.